Like the video, or your firstborn child will look like PS1 Hermione. So after all the trial...
Zahrál jsem si každou jednu Harry Potter hru, aby ty si nemusel.
I played...
Kámo, já ti říkám, tam budou i ty relikvie smrti a podobný. Na to se můžeme podívat.
Every single Harry Potter tie-in game, so you don't have to. From the PS1 to the Xbox 360, this is the story of a specky orphan who could, as he moves out of his 5 by 5 cupboard and by the age of 18 was driving...
Tohle jsem zprovozňoval. Ten začátek reálně, jak tam lítáš na tom koštěti.
Bugattis, dating models and fighting the
Chunger
most...
se instantně spawnul do chatu. Chunger je podle mě teďko v zahraničí.
...feared bald man to ever live. Behind Jeff Bezos, of course. Some of these games are surprisingly great. Some of them are actually so bad, I'd put them above J.K. Rowling in terms of how much damage they've done to the Harry Potter IP. Now, playing all these games does take up a considerable amount of time, so I wasn't exactly around to cook up gourmet meals for me and my girlfriend. That's where HelloFresh come in clutch. HelloFresh recipes are not only delicious, they're convenient and help you save money too. Cut back on expensive takeout and delivery and get started with HelloFresh. You'll love how fast, easy and affordable it is to whip up restaurant quality meals right in your own kitchen. Fast and fresh recipes, HelloFresh's latest line of meals featuring robust flavors and filling portions in less than 15 minutes. Quality, done quick, with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes with béarnaise sauce, and Southwest pork and bean burritos. The price of everything has seemingly soared through the roof this year, but HelloFresh will help you save money all year round. In fact, HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% cheaper than takeout. It also means you don't have to go outside into the cold, wet and windy winter time. Your weekly order will simply arrive right at your doorstep. With HelloFresh, eating well in the new year can be stress-free and delicious. With over 30...
Víte, co taky zní až moc dobře na to, aby to byla pravda? To, že s Volt kódem Agraelus získáte jenom tím, že ho napíšete ve vaší objednávce z Voltu jídla 50 korun slevu na každou objednávku. Easy peasy. Jsem si ptal, kdy se to resetujete, jest ten rok a pojď znova použít 6krát ten kód.
5 weekly recipes, they have the options you're...
Víte, co taky zní příliš dobře na to, aby to byla pravda, ale přesto to je pravda, chat? Že když pojďte na medmonk.gg/Agraelus, dostanete doslova Vojtův nový parfém, dobrý aroma. Všechny ženy v okolí, bojte se Michal V. O můj bože. Varování, produkt obsahuje extrakt Michalovo mužnosti. Proč tady je doslova ten Michal Chad? Proč tady je Michal jako Chad template? Přímo na tom KDA. S vedlejšími efekty nabíhajících hord žen používejte jen na vlastní nebezpečí a pokud jste single... tak tohle z toho vyloženě na celý rok KDA je zdarma k předplatnému. Je to tady, už tady má i ikonku plus KDA. Takže při předplatným elitním klubu Medmonku, když si berete svůj měsíční nebo roční plán, kde máte i možnou pozvánku na Medmonk Party, která byla minulý rok, epic, tak ještě k tomu máte teďko to KDA. Zrušení je kdykoliv, všechno tohle sto. Oh yeah. A Michal vám bude psát personalizovaný e-maily, kde vám normálně bude dávat tips a tricks na váš životní styl. Plus dostáváte i tyhle super cool elementární piny a za postupně. To je jako subscriber badge. To je jako sub badge. Ale je to normálně fyzický pin, který postupně získáváte. Celý ten rok. Plus dostáváte také DAčko k ročnímu. A další srandy. Získají všechny výhody okamžitě. Kámo, doslova. Zvedni svou roční zásobu KDA ve spreji. Zdraví očí a kostí, podpora krevního oběhu, extra boost immunity, patentovaná synergie 3 vitaminů. Co říkají profesionální hráči o Medmonku? Tam jsem já mimochodem.
What's up everybody? My name is Lex Feltais. I'm 37.
Okay, to nejsem já, chat. Tak určitě tady bude, tady jsou hodnocení, ale tady jsou určitě další profesionální hráči, že jo? Často kladené otázky. Jak mohu získat vitamin KDA? Dáváme jako free gift všem novým měsíčním i ročním předplatitelům. Co ti? Easy. Nicméně pokud již kráčíš po Path of Monk, můžeš za 13 coinů získat v profilu a ty coiny získáváš za to, že jsi předplatitel Mad Monku, tak se ti loadujou do profilu. Já jsem dlouho neviděl tuhle stránku, já jsem reálně neplánoval tadyhle z toho sneaky promo Mad Monku mít tak dlouhý, jenom jsem byl překvapený, jak pěkně to mají udělaný. Jaký extra bonusy tam jsou.
For to help you achieve your goals. Choose calorie smart and carb smart recipes, or even customize select meals by swapping proteins and sides, upgrading your portions, or adding protein to a veggie dish. They also have plenty of options for dietary restrictions, so people like me, whose worst enemy is gluten, can still enjoy their delicious meals. Use my link or go to hellofresh.com and use code POGVOY65 for 65% off your first meal, plus free shipping. Once you click, my description will live update to count your purchases. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on the PS1. They changed the word philosopher for sorcerer in the US release, as apparently Americans don't know what a philosopher is. I personally believe a better
co?
Hail to the king, baby.
V Americe je to Sorcerer's Stone. Oni to doslova mají v NA pojmenovaný jinak, protože je Philosopher's Stone i u filmů, protože Američani, pro ně to je moc složitý termín. Hlavně, že nejsou schopní přejít na metrický systém, místo toho si prostě pamatujou, kolik palců je jedno fotbalové hřiště.
Translation for this for our friends across the pond would have been Harry Potter and the Active Shooter's Stone. I don't know if it was the intention or just the PS1 aging this horribly, but I'm half convinced this is a horror game. Just look at Dumbledore's JPEG face as he levitates down the stairs, and I can't tell if he's about to drop some red hot life advice or take me on a trip to see his chamber of secrets.
Tak to je masakr.
As the screen wobbled and made...
Já jsem velmi překvapený, jako v okolik hůř graficky vypadá ta PlayStation verze oproti té PC verzi. Jo, kamaráde, zlatý dobrý časy, kdy si jednu českou výplatu dal za PCčko, který za 2 roky bylo totálně outdated, protože ty technologie se vyvíjely tak rychle, že prostě každý 2 roky ty hry vypadaly graficky absolutně na jiném levelu.
Made me feel rather ill, but I discovered this is actually where EA drew inspiration for the first ideas of Mirror's Edge. Just look at Harry's explosive eject off this bookcase. Not sure about the land. Want to implement a tuck and roll there, Harry, or you'll be needing a new hip by the age of 30. The Gryffindor common room for some reason has comically large sofas in them, which even your mother would struggle to fill out. Sorry, that one may have been too far. Your mother could be anemic for all I know. But don't worry, Malfoy has got your back, as he hits me with this steaming hot roast.
I'm Draco Malfoy.
Are you sure?
Go home to your mother, Potter. Oh, sorry, you don't have one, do you?
What the fuck?
Ouch. God, I'd be casting some spells right now if I
Kamo,
knew how
tohle je
to.
dětská videohra, to je jaký grill.
PS1 Hagrid, as he is a gift from the heavens. A surprising amount of this game is just Harry doing parkour, and it's clear to see the inspiration for the gameplay was indeed the Tomb Raider games. However, instead of playing as a hot, pixelated, square-shaped brunette, you play as a child. So definitely not as appealing as Tomb Raider, unless you're a priest, of course. I try my hand at practicing flying on a broomstick, but the more terrifying than my directional skills was Madam Hooch's character. Has it, she smoked 1 dose of Pfizer, and in less than a week, this is what happened. Speaking of questionable character models, I then meet Hermione. Hermione's another level. Like the video, or your firstborn child will look like PS1 Hermione. So after all the trauma...
OK, dobré, ale jestli nezmíní PlayStation 1 Hagrida. Velmi obligátní Forsen Hagrid.
That has caused me, I then get the letter I had been waiting for.
Dear Harry, please meet me in the castle grounds.
Yes! Hagrid! PS1 Hagrid, I'm coming! Standing in my way of meeting the big man, however, was Malfoy, who starts throwing around wizard-themed slurs at me like we're at a Magic of the Gathering tournament.
Wizard crackers.
Come again?
Crackers.
I believe we're wizard crackers. We then got to our crowning moment where it was all worth it. The boss fight, the cursed character models, the pulsating scream. All just so we could see Hagrid. PS1 Hagrid! Look at that beautiful man. Chamber of Secrets on the PS2. This one goes down as many people's favourite because they grew up playing it, so it holds a special place in their heart. Who could forget running around as little Harry casting while you overheard your parents having a domestic in the next room? Ah, childhood. Back in the day, this game's most exciting feature was the fact that you could play outside of Hogwarts, as the game opens with Ron showing off his clapped driving skills. Some say this is actually the exact same experience you get when getting a lift home from a nightclub with professional footballer Marcus Alonso. At Ron's gaff, we had to do a few chores like taking out the gnomes in the shed and fighting a washing machine to take revenge for all those times your mum got stuck inside of it. So after we launched some gnomes into the neighbour's garden, we head off to Diagon Alley, another iconic location recreated in this game. Unfortunately, my experience here is ruined because Harry decides to help a struggling girl who's lost a load of her possessions. What a selfish child, as she's even got her real mother with her, reminding Harry that his is very much dead. When looking for her stuff, I end up at a bar where I get offered a bevy by the bartender. Wow, J.K. Rowling really created Harry Potter as a world with loose societal rules for maximum escapism. You've got kids day drinking, driving cars, killing each other with magical spells, and you're telling me this woman finds the concept of gender fluidity too far-fetched. Once we're done helping the kid out, we hop into the whip with Ron, where he would once again put Paul Walker to his driving skills. I just wanted to get to school on time for my first class, but no, now we're stuck in a giant tentacle tree, which I'm sure I've seen in an adult video before. The tree has got a firm grasp on Ron.
Jednička vypadá definitivně líp na PCčku, ale tady je ta dvojka, tak to teda jako dají na PlayStationu, jako čumím, jaký cutscény to má a jaký skripty a cool lokace.
And is aggressively throwing him around like a ragdoll, so my boy is going to have some serious whiplash here once we're done. I fight the tree using every spell I know so far.
Tady je docela boss fight s verbou mlátičkou. V PC verzi zakázíš jedno kouzlo a Ron je dole.
Twice the size of Harry. We eventually arrive back at Hogwarts, and it's a miracle we made it here alive without Ron driving us through the window of the local Italian restaurant. Hogwarts in this game is actually so atmospheric. It's a big step up from the PS1 version where it's just kind of silent and there's a little bit of background noise and you feel like at any moment Dumbledore is going to pop out and grab you. And most thankful of all, Hermione is no longer cursed. I mean, she still doesn't look like Hermione, but it's a step up. The Prisoner of Azkaban on the PS2. My personal favourite of the classic Harry Potter games, and my favourite film out of all of them too. We begin on a train, where we have a private carriage. This is pure luxury compared to the tube, where because it's always so busy, you have to sit on your homeboy's lap and smooch with them to save space. Ron's rat escapes, so Harry goes to find it with him because he's a good mate. Moments later, I attempt to put Ron's back out by making him hold this heavy trunk so I can actually crack on a Hogwarts without him dragging me down.
I swear I'm going to drop this if we don't put it down soon.
He actually does do me a favour about 2 minutes later though, as when I pass out from the Dementors, he drags me to safety. A heroic act for sure. I also recently got Ron a plaster after his finger while cooking a stir fry, so he did owe me one. We pull up to Hogwarts with Harry not remembering anything that happened, so we helpfully choose to completely ignore it and move forward. Hogwarts in this game fills me with so much nostalgia. For the time it was released, it was so well realised and really felt like you were exploring what you'd seen in the movies. The game even had a segment where you have to cast spells at Ron, so I think they secretly know how annoying he was and chose to give you a release. The puzzles, collecting all the beans, the stealth segments, on-the-fly character switching, and of course, who could forget the old Weasley touch.
Aha! The old Weasley touch does it again.
We attend our dark arts class, now playing as Hermione, because
Jak to reálně jako zas tak tady, ta PCčková verze je absolutně seřezaná oproti tady té Glorious PlayStation 2 verzi. Tady jako celkem jasně vyhrává PS2 verze.
This game was progressive and gave you the option to play as a female character. We thought we were going to be taught how to defend ourselves against our greatest enemies, but no. Our new teacher instead just sends us into the foundations of the school to eradicate some beasts in sub-zero temperatures. Talk about student well-being, surely this can't qualify under the health guidelines of Hogwarts. You might think this is a joke, but honestly, the only joke here is the standard of teaching. Not only are the students in danger, but I was also in danger just by playing the game. Ow! Oh, my knee! We defeat a few waves of creatures that were just thriving in this environment and honestly weren't hurting anyone. So yeah, don't tell Peter, I guess. Hermione, trying to fix the situation, grabs a new spell, but instead makes everything worse as now it's no longer freezing, but everything is on fire. We then have a boss fight against an Italian chef's dream wife. A living, breathing, talking oven. Apart from being the experience in the game and probably giving me long-term eardrum damage, this is actually pretty fun. We defeat the oven, breaking the hearts of Italian men across the world, but also proving to our teacher that we really do deserve that A grade. I really didn't want to leave this one because of how much joy it was giving me.
And honestly, I
really wish I didn't. The Goblet of Fire on PS2. Having never played this one before, I thought it would be the same formula as the other PS2 games, but boy, I could not be more wrong. The game does, however, put its best foot forward.
Ten Ronald, Kámo, podívej se na ten DRS herka. Kámo, tak tobě ty 4, tam začaly ty účesy, no. 4 i ve filmech, tyhle, mají jako minimálně Harry, tyhle, tam má super dlouhý, tyhle vlasy. A má nejdelší vlasy, má ve 4, nebo v 5. Nevím, ve 4. A Ronald, no, tak ten jde na ples.
Like Nico Bellic in this game. Apart from Slap Harry, everything about this game has
Ron
been
vypadá, jak kdyby právě odešel z Metalliky, aby založil Megadeth.
Downgraded from the last 2. It's like EA knew they were making decent games and just threw it all out the window because it went against the company policies. Third-person combat? Gone. On-the-fly character switching? Gone. Open levels that let you freely explore the area you're in? Gone. One thing that does remain, however, is Ron's as he gets a spell wrong within the first 2 minutes of the game.
Wingardium Leviosa! Dad!
That's not a spell. He's also extremely enthusiastic about beans in this game too.
Over there!
Kámo, proč to vypadá tak špatně oproti té 3
The
i
gameplay
2?
might not even look that bad, but even simple things such as casting spells was way more difficult than it ever should have been. When we get to Hogwarts, it's not a fun area to explore. It just limits you to a couple of rooms, and we can't even go outside. I feel like a cat with FIV. As if playing through this game wasn't bad enough, you also have to replay levels. You see, they implemented a really fun system, where if you don't collect enough of these shields, you can't move on to the next level. Now, the AI has never been a these games, but here, they are just more than useless. They are actively trying to give Harry concussion.
Jako ten Ronald potrolil.
When all was said and done, I managed to endure a total of 40 minutes of this pure hell until I couldn't figure out how to actually progress in the game anymore, so I saw it as the Lord blessing me with a sign to move on to the next one. The Order of Phoenix on the Xbox 360. When I first boosted up this game,
Phoenixův řád, kámo, teď určitě zmíní úžasný dubbing Vojty Kotka v této hře.
I thought this was going to be another Goblet of Fire situation, but I would later be proven wrong. Can you blame me for thinking that though? When we start off the game, Harry's reading a newspaper on a swing, like every teenager with no parents and no home to go to. The character models, despite being on the next generation Xbox 360, somehow went backwards. I mean, they're nearly as cursed as Hermione on PS1. However, when I realised this game wasn't an epic battle between wizards, but was instead a house cleaning simulator, I warmed to it a lot more. Rather than using our spells to deal with the rising threat of Voldemort, ending the entire world, we instead used them to do chores. It even had role-playing elements to it as well. Like here, I could just sit back and let the woman do all the cleaning. It's like my real relationship. I then head over to Ron's room to help him pack his freshly washed garments. Ron, I used my best fabric conditioner for this. Have a whiff. Have a sniff. Come on, smell that. That's incredible, isn't it?
Kámo, proč by to Ron čuchal? Však pomáhaj zbalit Hermioně.
Discover my favourite thing about this game. I can terrorise the students by picking up random objects and aggressively smashing them over the head. This is the best thing about this game. I can fly a stone bench into people's head and give them concussion. An unsuspecting couple of victims. Oh, Ron, watch out the way. I'm not sure I'd do much to Ron anyway, he's already had multiple concussions, let's be honest. Hogwarts itself is also beautiful in this game. Not graphically, it only looks a little bit better than Forspoken. I mean in its presentation and how extensive it is. This would be worth playing for any fan who just wants to walk around these great hallways and abuse children with foreign objects. So I of course use this new spell system for good by making my way to the restroom and blowing the stall doors open so no one can shit in peace. Unfortunately, even though I went at the prime time of lunchtime, no one was actually in here. So it would appear that wizards can't get IBS. I was having too much fun just enjoying the spells and Hogwarts itself to even realise what was going on in the story, but Harry and Hermione team up to show Ron and Neville a new spell, but we could have balanced out the IQs on the teams a little bit better. Just look at how disinterested they are at learning something new. I feel like I'm showing Prince Andrew a legally aged woman. It turns out we're actually creating a team to fight back against Voldemort, kind of like face but rather than doing 360s off the high-rise crane on MW2, we're trying to 360 the big baldy man into the Shadow Realm. I need 26 recruits, so here's me thinking I'll just have to walk around, talk to a couple of students, and the game will autofill the rest for me. Oh how wrong I was. The game actually expects you to go and talk to 26 students all over Hogwarts, so I said no to that and moved on. But of course, not before I tried feeding Ron some fruit, as I care about his 5 a day and the betterment of his health.
A on si prostě nainstaloval Harry Potter 5 jenom proto, aby tam prostě házel objektama do dalších studentů a to je celá jeho recenze. Ale ne, tady to začíná být ta first person, tady to začíná být, ne first person, tady to začíná být ty otravný střílečky, do tam a pak ty finální 2 díly, to je prostě čistý EA. Neuvěřitelný. Tam EA zakralovalo a vydalo prostě obě 2 hry, Relikvie smrti, obě 2 za plnou cenu 1500 korun. 7 měsíců od sebe. A obě 2 jsou na 4 hodiny. A ty 4 hodiny ti pocitově přijdou jako 12 hodin. 6 by vlastně ještě měla být v pohodě. Tam je hlavně ta funny scéna, jak pak ve first personu jdeš, protože jsi světej tím elixírem Felix Felicis. Akorát na PCčku klasicky jako rozjet byl jako docela, aspoň se mi to spustilo na rozdíl od Phoenixu řádu tehdy.
60. This is basically the same game as the Order of Phoenix with a few new additions. For example, Harry has now elevated his Riz to new levels.
Ron and Hermione should be around here somewhere.
Co ti? To je Rizzler, kámo. OK, chat, já jdu napsat ten emoji. Holy.
On Hermione?
When did you get here?
Do you not see me flying around the gaff in a giant broom? And we learn that Harry never had the chance of being an Olympic sprinter as he's beaten by Luna in a foot race. Due to taking such a fat L against Luna, Harry would spend the next little while working on his speed until eventually we unlocked the sprint button. And just look at my boy go. Harry just turned into...
Harry dostal takový L-ko prostě od Lenky v intru, že teď přesprintí celý Bradavice.
Bruno Fernandes just got slightly touched by someone and just flopped to the floor. I'm surprised he's not crying. You know you're running fast when the world gives you motion blur. Aside from the brand new quads and bigger calves than he's ever had before, Harry was also learning how to make potions, a part of the game that I actually found really easy, walked through it like a breeze, handled like a champ. I promise it didn't all go tits up. Oh shit, I'm getting it everywhere, hang on. Oh, get rid of the smoke! I'm just chucking all my potions off the side of the table.
Fakt zábavný.
What is that? Which one is that? Is it? I don't know which one that is. Is it this one? Oh, I'm getting it all over my textbook. Yeah, I did it first time.
It's clear you've inherited your mother's talent.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. It didn't take me multiple attempts at all, and I didn't spill it absolutely everywhere. I've probably made a new potion on his desk from the amount that I spilled all over the desk. As is standard in any Harry Potter game, I then put a beating on Ron, embarrassing him in front of the new students to gain some self-esteem back. Just as I'm thinking, this game is better than the Order of Phoenix, because there's not a quest where you have to find 26 students. I am then subjected...
Kámo, mně se líbí, jak prostě v této době bylo perfektně přijatelný vzít úplně jasně vypadající model bílýho studenta a jenom na něj prostě textura černej a prostě ho nechat běhat.
To the most out of context moment I have ever had in a video game.
Shall we go to Hogsmeade?
Oh, sorry, Harry. I've arranged to go with Dean. He's not...
Wait a second, was that a record scratch?
Tybo, to je pravda, tady je v tom dialogu doslova ten scratch té nahrávky v moment, kdy ti Ginny řekne, že s tebou nemůže na rande. To jsem, když jsem to hrál, to tam fakt je v té hře.
Oh, sorry, Harry. I've arranged to go with Dean. He's not...
Hang on. Wait a second, was that a record scratch?
To si pamatuju, stejně pak tam je i tarantinovský zoom na toho křiklana, když opakuje didn't he, asi 3krát to zoomne na jeho face, když si sledoval Tarantinovku.
I really just hear a record scratch in a video game. I really couldn't tell then if I was playing Harry Potter or Deadly Premonition. Like, I feel like it even would have felt out of place in Deadly Premonition. And nothing feels out of place in that game. So on top of being confused, I was then really bored, as I am then subjected to Quidditch. Quidditch being one of the most overrated parts of the Potter universe, they somehow made it even more boring to play than it is to watch in the movies. Genuinely, I was falling asleep and thought this was the worst thing I'd ever played. But I was not ready for what was next. The Deathly Hallows on the 360.
A je to tady. A je to tady. Poslední 2 díly. Here it comes. Chat. Já vám řeknu malý tajemství. Když jste si v roce 2009 a dál, nebo 2008 a dál, chtěli koupit videohru, byly tam varovný signály. Například, pokud měla Games for Windows Live, tak jste jako PCčkář věděli, že jenom spustit tu bude agonizující. Když třeba ale na Xboxu měla lepší s Kinect senzorem, tak jste věděli, že bude party.
Part one of 2 parts, unfortunately. So after the recovery of the last 2 games from the dumpster fire that was the Goblet of Fire, I thought surely this was also a home run if they continue with the same formula. No, like Michael Jordan returning from baseball, they did it again. They really did it again. They threw everything they learned out of the window and made an asset flip third-person shooter. As if this wasn't bad enough either, the game makes you attend a wedding in its opening scenes. The only thing worse than attending a real wedding is attending a virtual one where you can't even get drunk and sneak off into the back room with the groom and give him a wedding suit wristy as a late present. They even made a cover system for this game. Like, what were they trying to do? Make a Wizard Gears of War game? Okay, that does actually sound fire, but not when it's executed like this. I'm convinced someone messed up when communicating what this game was meant to be, and every department had a different vision for what kind of game they were making, so they just mashed it all into
Harry
one.
Pottera.
Like, there's even a forced first-person part where the FOV is lower than Serbia's age of consent, so it just makes you feel all kinds of dizzy. And to think I inserted this into my Xbox 360 when I could have been playing Night at the Museum all of this time. Yes, that's a real game. This was truly one of the worst experiences of my life, but fortunately didn't tip you over the edge. Well, they made a part 2. The Deathly Hallows Part 2 on the Xbox 360. The best thing I can say about this one is it's actually better than Part 1. I mean, I think that's largely down to Part 2 of the movies being far superior to Part 1, so the story is at least more entertaining. But apart from that, it's the same game. I mean, I guess at least this time I get
Hoři, vrať se, našel si nám fakt na čolích a pak ani nepřijdeš. Tak já místo toho kta tady utopím v řece tebe. A Matuš říkal, že na tebe snične, že si vykradl celé okolí, takže máš 5 minut řehoři, 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 řehoři.
Chat, žádná postava, za kterou hraju ve videohře, se nemenuje Řehoř.
more than Harry Potter, because who hasn't always dreamed of playing Seamus while running around planting C4? It's basically like Hogwarts does the Saboteur. You can also play as Neville, as every fan was pining to play as a forgettable side character while you snipe enemies from a distance, because apparently Neville is the wizard version of Chris Kyle. This game's biggest asset is the fact that it clocks in at a total of 3 to 4 hours, so your suffering doesn't last that long. With every game now finished, I thought it was time for me to rank them. And what better way to do it than with an indescriptive tier list I found on the internet. So we have banger tier, good tier, I mean, it's alright, Dog Water, and Please Lord No, Never Again. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on PS1, it's alright. For what it is, for a PS1 game, for a horror game, it's okay. Chamber of Secrets, PS2. Good tier, fun game, lots of memories, great time. Prisoner of Azkaban, also PS2. Banger tier, lots of people would swap these two. I think Prisoner of Azkaban is actually better than Chamber of Secrets. Goblet of Fire, PS2. Never again. Please, I never want to play that game again. I want nothing to do with the Goblet of Fire ever again. Now, probably the most surprising game on the list, The Order of Phoenix. Good tier.
Neville Longbottom, no, I don't think so. More like Frederick Zola. Kamaráde. Frederick Zola. Ten tam vysnajpřil.
Actually good. I mean, the Hogwarts was great. The combat was weird, but it was like kind of cool. The character models were cursed. Yeah, actually, no, you know what? It's all right. It's okay. I'll put Half-Blood Prince in good tier, just because it was basically the same as Order of Phoenix, except the character models were a little bit less cursed.
Já si jako souhlasím, tady ten Fénixův řád vyhrává v Česku, protože má jako jediný dubbing, což už ta 6 nemá.
And it didn't have a mission which required me to talk to like 27 people. So we'll put Half-Blood Prince in good tier. Deathly Hallows Part 1. Please Lord No, Never Again. These two, I just never want to play these games again. I never even want to see these games again. I have them physically because I had to buy them physically for this video. I'm just going to throw them out the window. Last but not least, Deathly Hallows Part 2 is Dog Water. It's not quite Please Lord No, Never Again. I mean, like, you know, I could finish it if I had to, but it was still not a fun experience. I wouldn't recommend it. This is my ultimate tier list for the Harry Potter tie-in games. You may not agree with it, but let's be honest, who's really...
To video se jmenuje prostě ale. Zahrál jsem každou Harry Potter hru, to vyloženě bait, protože nehrál Quidditch, nehrál tu Kinectovou hru, nehrál nějaký další na PS3 jako Book of Potions, Book of Spells, a hlavně nehrál ty PC verze. Takže reálně opravdu hrál jako 50-60% Harry Potter her.
That passionate about these games, I'm
Ačkoliv
sure.
řekl, že hrál všechny Harry Potter hry. Jak si mohl vynechat Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup? To byla nejlepší Harry Potter hra ever. Přesně. Tu jsem nikdy nehrál.
No one really even cares that much. A big shout out to my motherload Voyboys and above, Bjorn Van Den Hatter, Teg TTV and Zyfin. Thank you guys for your support.
Dobré video, bavil jsem se. Roku 2001. Na tomto Počkej, proč se slíkám?
No tak to jsem neviděl.